All right, welcome back. Let's talk about PulseX real quick. By the time I upload this video, you'll have 4 hours before the 5% uptick in the adoption or the bonding curve begins. So I thought it was going to be tomorrow, but 4 hours from now, every day you get 5% less PulseX for your sacrifice. Okay. Um, for those people who don't know what I'm talking about, I guess you didn't watch the last video or the one before that, and you don't watch any Richard videos, and I can't help you. I mean, if you're not paying attention. I mean, this is another Richard Hart project. Might be another 1,000 times your money in the next year or two. Not financial advice. I'm not making any promises. It's just that we're sacrificing for a political statement, which is freedom of movement and freedom of association. Because a lot of people can't do that right now globally. They're not allowed to go wherever they want and meet with other people. And I shouldn't have to explain that that's not normal. And if you can't do that, you're under, you're locked down, right? You're not a free human being. It's a human God-given right. And if you don't believe that, then get out of here. Unsubscribe, get out of here. All right. So we are sacrificing our cryptos for that political statement. Now, why is that? This will be a DEX. It'll be an exchange. So recently we had Pulsechain, right? And Pulsechain is an entire system state fork of Ethereum. Everything comes over. It's an entire copy of essentially like 90% of crypto. Everyone gets a free copy, and there might be value there when everything launches. Okay. But you're going to need an exchange. You're going to need a bridge between Ethereum and Pulsechain, right? And now, remember, all of this is being built for HEX, okay? And just don't forget that, because at the end of the day, it's all for HEX. And I'm going to explain how it's super bullish for HEX and everything. But let's talk more about Pulsechain, shall we? Let's go to... Here's the website, PulseX. So PULSEX.com. Make sure, check, because there's a bunch of scam websites, this and that out there. Go to Richard's Twitter, just go to his Twitter, make sure it's his Twitter account. It's not verified, it should be. He has over 100,000, like over 150,000, I believe, subscribers. Or just go into my free Telegram chat group or follow me on Twitter. I don't know why you haven't so far or yet. It's free. And I've been posting about things for the past month, right? So if you don't know what's going on, that's your fault. And I guess you don't deserve to be a part of this, in my opinion. But it's exciting. It's extremely exciting. So why would $722 million be sacrificed for this DEX, for this decentralized exchange, right? Why would a lot of people throw that much money at this for this political statement? Well, I'll explain. But first, before I explain what's so awesome about it, I was looking at a few things. By the way, it's more. You know what? I'm thinking it's going to be like $1 billion or close to it, which is actually a lot. That is a lot. I was hoping it wasn't that much because I don't want to get diluted. But then again, I've changed my mind on that because we do want a larger network effect. And technically, in the end, it's just going to pump the crap out of HEX and Pulsechain the more people who participate and become a part of PulseX. All right. So I was looking at this. Total wallets as of now is 56,000, about 57,000 wallets. Okay. The top wallet, the very first one, sacrificed $40 million worth, and the second wallet about $30 million worth, and then 20 million, and then so on and so on and so on. Some of the people were pooling some of the HEX OGs, and that's weird because are they gonna distribute the airdrops forever after this? I don't know. I guess they don't want it. But of course I'm not doing that because I want the airdrops for myself, and I want my people to have their airdrops because you never know, there might be extremely valuable airdrops in the future. All right. But I was looking at this. If you only count the wallets which have sacrificed about $1,000, I would say there's 27,000 wallets with $1,000 or more sacrificed. So it's not really 57,000. It's about roughly half, a little more than half, right? Around 27,000 wallets with $1,000 and more. Of course, the top 100 are going to have like 90% of the PLSX coins if they're airdropped to our wallets for participating in the sacrifice for freedom of movement and association, right? But that's pretty good. That's not that much. It's not that much. It's a lot, but it's not too much, right? And you do want the whales to have 90% of the supply because whales don't tend to sell because they don't need to. They don't need things. They already have everything they need, right? So that's good. That's very bullish. Very good. You guys could come here and look at PulseXlead.com. It's all posted in my free Telegram newsroom and chat room. So let's look at what's cool about this Richard project. We need this, right? Now there are other exchanges that are coming on. I know there's TrustSwap and Uni and all of the other ones, PancakeSwap and all those. They're gonna be there as well. But I don't think they're gonna be any competition to PulseX. So I'm just gonna simply break it down. I do not want to make a long video, but I just listed all the benefits of it. So PulseX, PLSX tokens, if we get them right for our sacrifice, there's a limited supply, zero inflation. So whatever supply is minted, that's it. That'll be the most ever, day one. Like that block, that second. And then after that, the supply is only going to be dwindling. That is like the most ultimate pumpamental. It's deflationary. Okay? Why? Because the exchange, the automated market maker, it burns like 0.2. I already forgot. It's the best rate out of versus PancakeSwap and the other swaps. But about 20%, 21% or something like that, 22% is being burned per transaction. Or 0.22, not 22%, 0.22. So every time there's a transaction on this exchange, PLSX is being burned. And now think about the amount of volume sloshing back and forth between the Ethereum network and then the Pulse chain network. And then later there'll be other layer 1s who are going to be swapping with the Pulse chain layer 1 network. We're talking about tens, maybe eventually billions of dollars worth of crypto just moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And as they move back and forth, PLSX tokens are going to be burned every time there's a transaction, because there is a fee. And I forgot the fee. It's like 3%, or not 3, it's like 0.3%. I'll play a video where Richard goes into the details, but I just want you guys to get the macro picture here. All right. So as all the money sloshes around, moves around, capital flight in and out, and Pulse Chain is going to be huge, guys. Biggest thing in crypto since, like, I don't know, I guess ICOs happening on Ethereum network, right? So the entire crypto market, whatever its market cap is, you could get a piece of that pie for yourself as it moves around in and out of Pulse Chain. Okay? So it's kind of like a money printer if you hold PLSX tokens. And even better, I'll get into providing liquidity. All right, no admin keys, truly decentralized, and it runs forever. I believe the other DEXs have admin keys. Uni does, and I think PancakeSwap does as well. So this one will be the first of its kind, just like HEX, first of its kind. No admin keys, 100% complete. I mean, it's just on the internet forever, and no one could edit it. No one could mess with it. It's just there. You can't do anything about it. Nobody could do anything about it. It's just going to be there, and no one can stop it. That's huge. You understand? That's real freedom. It already has the best fundamentals, the best rates, the best fees, the more burn. It beats all the other DEXs. And how much did I believe PancakeSwap went up 40x from its inception. This was like 8-9 months ago. 40x. This is gonna go up probably more, like a lot. All right, so it's set to be the premier automatic market maker DEX exchange and bridge between Ethereum and Pulse, and on the Pulse chain for PRC20. So it's not just a bridge between all of the the ERC20s and the PRC20s. All of the PRC20 swapping will be done on this exchange. PLSX exchange will harvest, the automatic market maker will harvest pretty much most of the liquidity from the other exchanges, which are being forked and copied over to the Pulse chain. So it's going to like suck all of the liquidity out of the other exchanges because money goes where it's treated the best. And it's very complicated, and I don't want to get into it. So there will be no other competitors. Eventually, the other exchanges will be used, but in the beginning, maybe the first year or something like that, it'll just be PulseX really doing most of the volume. So you will be able to provide liquidity between ERC20s and PRC20s, basically yield farming and earning more coins. So, for example, you could provide liquidity between Ethereum and Pulse chain using this exchange, this PulseX exchange. So you provide liquidity on both sides, equal amount, and then when people are trading between the Ethereum and Pulse, you're making more you're getting rewarded more Ethereum and Pulse. Now there is impermanent loss. Look it up, what it is. So you do want to make sure you like both pairs you're providing liquidity to, because you might just end up with, draining the one pair and only ending up with a bunch of just the other pair. And that's if one of them like crashes while the other one goes up. But you need to, do some research on it. I provide videos for my people in the private group, this and that, so they understand what they're doing and what's going on. All right, but the moral of the story is you could provide liquidity for any pairs. You could provide liquidity for 2 projects on the Pulse chain. Or you could do the bridging and provide liquidity between the Ethereum project and then the Pulse project. And I believe a lot of people, or a lot of founders and a lot of whales who hold Ethereum projects, for example, like Chainlink, well, they might be, why would they leave free money sitting on the table? Why wouldn't they provide liquidity possibly and just make more money if they're going to get a free copy? So let's say a huge whale who has a big Chainlink bag, and he sees that there's this fork, and now he's got a second bag for free of Chainlink on the Pulse chain network. Well, why wouldn't he provide liquidity and have pretty much a money printer of Chainlink for both pairings, right? Especially if there's value on the Pulse chain network. So what this does is it like intertwines the Ethereum and the Pulse chain ecosystem, and then value moves over and is extracted into the Pulse chain network, and then all of a sudden now the Pulse chain network has value across some of the major projects, not all of them. We don't know which ones. I mean, you could kind of see who's testing on the on the test net, but there's going to be value. I'm just going to say that. There's a lot of big projects already looking at Pulse chain. A lot of the NFTs, all of them, they can't function. I believe they're going to be on Pulse chain. Huge opportunities, guys. I'm talking like you don't want to miss this. Yeah. So what else? There will be an incentive token rewarded to liquidity providers, maybe for voting rights through a DAO. Also may have some automated rewards from a pool given to the incentive token holders. So there's the PLSX token, and then there's going to be another token. And as of right now, I think it's just we're calling it incentive token. What is the incentive token? So there's going to be a DAO, right? A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So when you provide liquidity on the PulseX decentralized exchange, you'll be rewarded this extra token. Now, why would this token be? Well, for one, why would it have value? And what will give it value? And what's the purpose of it? Well, I don't think Richard's even said why, but I'm just going to guess, right? This is hypothetical. I'm guessing, I'm assuming this incentive token will be used so you could vote and delegate where the extra like fees that are generated on this decentralized exchange go. So it's like this is the decentralized part where everyone who holds PLSX, or everyone who holds the incentive tokens, gets to vote. and they could vote where extra liquidity is provided. It's kind of like a bonus where the extra bonus goes, like at the end of, I don't know, every day or at the end of every month. Now I'm assuming that's what it's gonna be for, and that's what'll give it value as well. And from what I see from Pulse Lead, it looks like most of the people who sacrificed for this PulseX exchange, although there's a lot of new people, there's a ton of new people. It's insane because everyone saw that all the hexagons got rich, and a lot of people missed out on Pulse Chain as well. And now they're like, well, I'm definitely not going to miss out on this PulseX because it seems like every richer project makes them rich, right? So, but what I was trying to say is a lot of the hexagons are on the leaderboard. They're the ones who have sacrificed the most, and they're going to get the most PLSX tokens, and they're probably going to be doing a lot of the liquidity providing, meaning I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but I think that is a huge pumpamental for Pulse Chain and HEX, because the fees that are collected from the exchange, it's going to pool up, and that money can be injected into maybe the exchange, the liquidity for Pulse Chain and HEX. It kind of can be injected in there, and it just helps with the prices. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, what else? So, in a nutshell, PLSX token is extremely deflationary, limited supply from launch. The DEX will be a permanent buyer and burner of the token. That you are rewarded, maybe possibly, airdropped for sacrificing your crypto now. And you send it to an address, and that's it. And then maybe, no promises, no expectations or work from others, you might get dropped or airdropped these PLSX tokens, right? That are, I'm going to say it one more time, extremely deflationary, limited supply from launch, and the exchange itself, which is running on its own with no admin keys, 100% complete. It's like just running on its own. It's kind of like a smart contract. Will be permanently a buyer of this coin by burning it every day. Every transaction is just burning the supply. And it could be a lot. Because as volume picks up, the trading picks up, more of the tokens are burned and burned and burned. And from what I believe, the supply only goes down. It only dwindles. All right. So if you're a hexagon and for some reason you haven't sacrificed or you're still looking to, but you have cash on the side, I really urge you to buy Hex and eat the fees, like whatever, $30, $50, or even $100 exchange fee, or transaction fee, not exchange. And well, yeah, buy Hex and then sacrifice that Hex real quick. Like it takes 10 minutes. And it's not going to cost you. Why? Because the Hex that comes off the market may never, ever, ever come back, which makes the supply of Hex even more illiquid. As of now, it's looking like, well, as of now, there's 1.6 billion. Let me show you here. Oh no, look. There's 1.7 billion Hex, which has been removed off the market already. That's a lot. And this is probably going to end up being 2 billion. So some people have done chain analysis on HEX. I'm thinking there was about 15 billion HEX liquid minus the OA, the smart contract, the HEX smart contract. So 15 billion minus 2 billion, right? We're looking at 13 billion. And I've also seen other chain analysis where really there might be even less, like maybe 6 billion, or maybe after the sacrifice, there's really only 4 billion liquid HEX sitting in people's wallets that can be sold. It doesn't mean they're gonna sell it. I'm just saying that's what's really just out there that can be sold. The rest is staked and locked up. And the only way that comes out is if people emergency end stake and take a huge haircut or nuke their account for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, the daily payouts have been really, really great lately. Like, really awesome. We're looking at over 6 HEX per, on average, daily payout per T-share rate. And T-share rates is really the highest appreciating asset in the world. But, you know, people, it's a little complicated to explain, and I'm not talking about that for this video. I'm talking about PulseX. All right. So, but listen, guys, there's no more HEX left. It's just no more HEX. Right now, the only reason the price isn't like making new all-time highs is maybe there's some whales playing some whale games and they're suppressing the price because your sacrifice that you make for PulseX is based on the dollar value amount. And most of the people or most of the whales or the, people who have money to sacrifice are hexicans. And if the price, starts rallying and making new all-time highs, then they don't want to get bumped down on the leaderboard, right? They don't want to get diluted by other whales, so they're keeping the price down, which is a kind of a gross game. I mean, you should have anticipated it. I anticipated, but I don't want to do that. Like, I don't care. Like, I say let's just make the price go up, but because we're all gonna do fine. It doesn't even matter. I believe So, not financial advice or anything, but this could easily be 1,000 times your money in the next year or two. Easily. Hex did a 10,000x in 2 years. Year and a half, really. I think PulseX could, do just as good. Worst case, I'm thinking, is 1,000 times your money. Like in 2 years, that's the worst case I'm thinking. But I don't know. There's always risk involved. Don't invest or don't sacrifice what you're not willing to lose. Throw some pocket change at it. It depends on your risk tolerance, how much money you have, how much you have extra, how much you're willing to risk to possibly get 1,000 times your money or more, or who knows, right? But not financial advice. Go consult your licensed financial advisor. But this is really just we're sacrificing, we're just throwing money away for a political statement of freedom of movement and expression, or not expression, association. All right, so I do not want to make this video too long. There's a few other things I want to talk about. Hold on. So for HEX, I just want to show you guys again. Here's the trend line. And is the price going to drop after the sacrifice? No, because there's no HEX left, like liquid HEX, like almost nothing that could be dumped onto the market. And virality, we haven't hit it yet, but I have a feeling it's going to pick up soon, especially leading into the mainnet launch of Pulsechain, which I don't know when it's really going to launch, but I believe the last video with Richard, he was saying 2 months. So the PulseX sacrifice phase is running. until like February 25th, I believe. So I'm thinking like maybe sometime around mid-March, end of March, beginning of April, mainnet goes live, or maybe sooner. I really don't know. It's hard. Tech is hard because it's always last minute. You get hung up and you don't know. Um, yeah. So Hex recently has been doing the best during this crypto crash. It's completely decorrelated, and I believe it's going to become even more decorrelated as Pulsechain goes live. And I believe the number one trading pairs for Pulsechain and Hex, and like it's going to be possibly stablecoin. I don't know how that's all going to work out in the end, but maybe in the beginning it won't be. But I don't know. We'll see. But I do believe Richard is extremely smart and he's already figured it out. And we're going to be completely decorrelated from crypto. Matter of fact, I think as crypto crashes, all of Richard's projects and Hex is just going to moon. Because we're just going to suck all the capital out of Bitcoin and all of them. Because we're just better. That's all it is. Money goes where it's treated best. And it's that simple. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't all the capital just go into the Pulse network when you're talking about like 1 penny trading fees? Why pay $30, $50, $100 to trade on the Ethereum network? I don't know. Like these projects can't even function on there. So it's just that simple, guys. Now listen, Hex made Uniswap popular. I believe Pulsechain and PulseX is going to make Hex the most popular store of value crypto out there besides Bitcoin. It's going to be like second running up to Bitcoin. It'll probably only take a year from now, even less. We'll be viral. We'll be viral by midsummer. If the prices go up, so since there's like no liquid Hex out there, like we might be looking at $1 or more Hex running into the launch of Pulse mainnet, like maybe a month, maybe 2 months from now. All right. And that should make it go viral. We're already looking at over 74,000 wallets that are staked. And the average staking length is only going up. We're past, I believe, 6 years. So on average, people are locking their money up for over 6 years to get that sweet 40+% APY that you can't find anywhere else in the world in a hyperinflationary global environment that will not stop because they can't. All right, so let's listen to this real quick.
The most popular applications on the Ethereum network are NFTs, which I don't like, but I wish I did like because everyone gets a copy of their NFTs over on Pulsechain, right? So you overpaid for a serial number loosely related to a JPEG that may or may not still be hosted on the internet. Congrats. You now have that same serial number on a new chain with the same keys that access it and mostly the same code. Good for you. Congratulations. Now, what's the second most popular thing? Well, the second most popular, and by the way, these measurements aren't totally accurate. So when I say NFTs are the most popular, it just means they consume the most gas. I don't think they actually have the most users. I think a lot more people trade on decentralized exchanges than use NFTs. I just think the NFTs suck up a lot of gas. So Uniswap has the majority of on-chain exchange liquidity in the Ethereum ecosystem. So they've got 8.2 billion locked up. And then SushiSwap is number 2. And they've got like 3.4 billion locked up, something like that. And by locked up, it means sitting there providing liquidity in the pairs. And actually, I hope that they're adding Uniswap v2 and v3 together. I think Uniswap v3 has a little bit more liquidity. Well, maybe 4x more liquidity than Uniswap v2 for, say, like the Ethereum USDC pair. I'm using a site that sucks to do these measurements made by a founder that sucks. So I'm not going to name it, but you know, when people do their jobs poorly in one area, you find out often that they do their jobs poorly in a lot of other areas. So I'd have to manually verify these numbers, but let's just say that maybe the ratios hold. Maybe they, you know, it's 3 times more in Uniswap. So, and then everything else is like way less liquidity, right? Like Bancor has way less, and on down the list. So what is Uniswap? Uniswap is a place. It's the most, probably one of the most popular apps, like number 1 or 2 on the Ethereum ecosystem. And I think it's very useful. You know, solving on-chain exchange, removing counterparty risk, being an oracle and not having to use some other oracle. It's awesome, right? It's all very, very good. And for a long time, they were totally open source. So Uniswap V1 had no admin keys, and it was totally open source. Then with V2, there was a light admin key, and that they could flip a switch that would take some of your a fee. And then they duct taped a token on, which was the Uni token, and everyone went wild. They loved it. Cool. Great. And then I heard a rumor, by the way, that Hayden Adams like cashed out a couple billion on Coinbase. Oh, okay, man. So, just a rumor. Now, Uniswap V3 isn't open source. So you have to wait 2 years. So after they released it, they put a 2-year timer that it would become open source after 2 years. I can't remember what that type of restrictive license is called. And it ain't been 2 years yet. So the best, most battle-hardened, most audited, reliable on-chain exchange automated market maker system is Uniswap V2. That's open source. And so it's really neat that Uniswap V2 put that platform fee into the code with a switch that one day they could turn it on if they wanted to. Well, that's really awesome because we're forking that and we're turning on the switch. Thanks. Don't have to do any work, right? That part is easy. Now, there's a harder part. And so the hard part is, well, you could say there's 2 hard parts. So this is PulseX. So PulseX is a fork of Uniswap that activates the platform fee that's built into the Uniswap code. So it's secure as could be. But the issue is that it's only designed to send the platform fee to a single address. Then there's another feature where you can choose another address that's allowed to change the first address. I would say disable that. Why would you want admin keys? That's an admin key. You don't want admin keys, in my opinion. So you remove the ability or just don't set the address. So there's in the code, the fee2 address is the one that gets the platform fee. And then the fee2 setter is what its variable name is called, is the address that could change that first address. So you leave fee2 setter blank or zeroed out. I think either one of them would work. But, you know, the devs will test it. And then I would prefer to see, and this is the design intention, is that instead of taking the platform fee and sending it to an address, this creates huge problems in my opinion. So like PancakeSwap does this. They point their platform fee to an address, and then that address is controlled by people, and then those people are responsible for doing what the business logic they advertise says. So they say they're going to do a buy and burn. Okay. And then, well, what if the guy that has the admin keys just stays asleep? Then you don't get your buy and burn. Or what if he just sends all the money to himself instead of buying and burning, right? I'm in cryptocurrency to reduce counterparty risk wherever possible and make things more secure and more decentralized and more reliable and more trustless. So, you know, relying on a human to wake up and do something that profits other people more than it profits themselves, that's a big ask, you know. I don't like that. So I invented, and I think it's one of the first times it'll ever be seen, is that you harvest or the platform fee gets sent to a contract address, and then that contract address has public functions that allow anyone that wants to run the public function, just like anyone can run good accounting in the HEX system, or anyone can run the daily update in the HEX system. Well, the same thing applies with this. Anyone will be able to run the buy and burn function, and they just choose which pairs they want to buy and burn for, and then pay the gas, and it runs. And then what it'll do is it'll take the platform fee that's in the fee2 address, and it will perform a buy action or a swap action on itself, the PulseX platform, and it will turn all of those various coins that it received as fees. So when you swap, you pay a fee. What do you pay the fee in? The coin that you have, not the coin that you want. And so when you pay your fee, the people that are providing liquidity or the platform fee, they get a bunch of random coins for whatever pairs people are trading on and whatever side of the pair they entered in. So now people go, they run the public function, they choose what pairs they want, because maybe some illiquid pair you don't care, or maybe some, pair doesn't exist anymore. Who knows, right? Like, there's a whole lot of variables. So the people choose the pairs they want, they pay their gas, and then the contract will execute the swap on the PulseX system, which is funny because it actually is self-amplifying. So when people trade, it generates fees, and only the PulseX holders will benefit from that because it's going to buy PulseX and then burn it, and with no admin keys. Awesome, Pancake doesn't have that. No one has that I'm aware of. Really cool innovation. So, and it's also cooler than so some of these systems, they just issue new coins, right? So Sushi issues new coins. So let me lay out some numbers for you guys. Uniswap charges a 0.3% liquidity fee or fee, and then the liquidity providers make that. They don't get any extra coins, and there's no buy and burn. And then Sushi, the fee is also 0.3% to the end user. However, the liquidity provider only gets 0.25%. And so 0.05 is missing. And where does that go? Well, that goes into like a treasury. And then who gets that money? People that take their Sushi and stick it in a contract, and it just sits there, and they call it X Sushi, and then they're the ones that get those rewards. But that's not, it's okay. But Uniswap has more volume and more users, and the LPs get more. And so how do you target these other entities and beat them? So my take on this is, well, let's give the end users a better deal. So instead of the end users paying 0.3%, why don't they just pay 0.29? So my suggestion for PulseX is that the fee for users is 0.29. Then you peel off for the platform fee 0.06. Why? Because it's the largest amount of buy and burn that I'm aware of. So, the only other platform that I know that has buy and burn, that has volume, is PancakeSwap, and their buy and burn is 0.05. All right, well, 0.06 is higher than 0.05, and 0.29 is lower than 0.30, which is the most common fee. So now you're giving the users a better deal. You're having a larger buyback and burn. And now what's another issue? Even though Pancake buys back and burns with an admin key, it's still net inflationary because they're constantly minting new coins to like reward people for putting liquidity in their pools. It's net inflationary. In PulseX, we're not going to have any inflation, none, because PulseX will not be minted to reward people for adding liquidity to pools. So if you do the math, a 0.06 buy and burn is a 21% buy and burn of the total fee of 0.29. So 0.06 is 21% of 0.29. And I'll verify that for luck, just to make sure my math's right. 0.06 over 0.29 is 20.68. So it's 21%. That's a pretty big buy and burn, 21%. So basically, the sacrificers that have all the PulseX coins, they're going to get buyback and burns of 20.68% on all of the volume that goes through the system.